Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look at this amazing 2023 Toyota Prius. It's been completely redesigned and I'm totally in love. But before we get started, I would like to say a huge thank you and shout out to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this beautiful Prius. I'll be sure to leave all of their contact information, including their website, in the description box below. Starting with the front end here, it looks like an amazing vehicle from the future. As far as how plain it looks, and when I say plain, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like everything blends in and it just looks like everything is very purposefully placed. You can see these headlights. I kind of like how there's almost like an eyebrow here. You see that? That's a panel, but then there's a light that goes here. It's that big, beautiful LED daytime running light. Then there's your LED headlight, and then there's your turn signal right there, all LED. Front park assist, sensors that beep when you get too close to something. I love how the front nose of it kind of goes down a little bit, but then it's almost like it's flat. So it just has a real dramatic look to it. You see that? That looks so nice. The hood is you know, kind of angular down, so it has better wind or better aerodynamics. Look how flat all of that is. Look how aerodynamic all of that is. I'm not sure exactly what the coefficient of drag is on this thing. I imagine it's well under 0.30, but look at this. Look how flat that windshield is. And I like it because there's very little wind noise whenever you're in the cabin driving, even at highway speeds. Toyota has done well to make this acoustic laminate sound dampening material in this windshield, double laminated material in the windshield, to make it really, really nice and sound resistant. You also have a whole slew of things going on up here that are safety features. There's a camera here, there's radar cruise control, there's all of the safety features that work beautifully, really well together. We'll get into that in just a second when we hop on the inside. One of the things about this Prius in particular, this exact one, is the fact that it's actually not very well loaded. It doesn't have all that much equipment on it. Believe it or not, I actually like that, because there's not a lot of things inside that are competing for your attention when you drive. It makes it so that it's you just get in and you just go. One of the things that I want to point out about the fact that I believe this is just like a base model Prius. It's got tons of safety features, but one of the things about it is the wheels. I'm a wheel person, and when I first saw these wheels, I did not initially like them. Let's take a look, and I want to tell you a couple of things about these wheels real quick. The wheel design to me looked a little bit freaky at first. I'm like, what is this? These huge chunky mag-like things, kind of harkening back to old school plastic mag days. In fact, they are plastic. However, here's the deal with these. They are actually designed for air to bounce off of them efficiently so that it reduces drag, so it makes the overall vehicle more fuel efficient. To me, that's a benefit, obviously, but to me, another benefit is cleaning these things. There are not a whole lot of, like, you know, little spokes that you have to clean whenever brake dust gets on them. I actually like these wheels, and I think the thing about the wheels too is that the color, especially with the black body color on this vehicle, it actually looks good. It looks like super sleek and just kind of, I don't want to say basic, because basic is often seen as a bad thing, but I just like the way this looks. It's just simple. Another thing about the color about this thing, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a fleck in this paint to where you see a lot of blues and a lot of greens. This is not just like a regular black. It's a very nice metallic deep paint that looks really, really good up close. Really like it. Here's another cool little quirky thing about the exterior. Prius is written all over the body. Prius here. Of course, you have Prius written all along the back. That is so cool looking. Prius right there. You also have Prius on the wheels. There it is right there on the mag. You also have Prius right here in the back glass written out right there. You see that? I don't know why they did that. Kind of cool. I like it. Now, as you're walking around, look at the back of it. You see these, the way the back fenders are, they kind of go out like this. It makes it look more substantial when you're looking at it from the rear. I'm telling you, this thing looks completely different. I know if you have seen one of these out on the road, and if you know much about Toyota and, you know, kind of the stigma of the Prius about it looking like a toaster and all that stuff, and when you see one of these, you do a double take, you're like, what in the world is that? One of the things that contributes to that is the fact that it's wider, it looks more athletic from the rear, and it also looks more athletic from the side too, because these rear fenders kind of go out and then they sink back in, all obviously working for aerodynamics. Another thing you have here are two lines that are in the roof, all wind directive things, taking wind, pulling it off of the end, and washing it off of the back. Here's the key fob for the new Prius. It's basically the same as you've seen before. Lock on the top, unlock, hold. On the back side, you have the word Prius written. Then there's a little key here. You push this tab down, you remove the key from the edge, and then that is a physical key. It looks just like this one. It will never be used to start the Prius. It's only used in the event that the battery dies. You're going to use it in that keyhole right there to get into the vehicle, at which point there's still enough charge in the battery key fob to start it, but then you would have to replace it. The battery is really easy to replace. Another thing that I really noticed, first thing whenever I open up the Prius, I've got it in my pocket, the doors are locked, so that whenever you press this or whenever you touch the door handle, there is a tone now that it used to be a beep, and now it's like an electronic melodic tone. I'll show you that in just a second. But I just did this, the door automatically unlocked, and it did that tone twice, beep beep, and then whenever you want to lock the doors, whenever you're finished using it, there are two little stripes here on the door handle, so all you do is, and then the door locks. That also locks the rear gate. You can also make it so that the rear gate unlocks whenever you unlock the doors. So here's what we're gonna do. You may be able to hear that tone now, but I'm just gonna hit it again. So listen to this, it's so cool. I love that. So here's that little melodic tone that I was telling you about whenever you hit unlock on the key fob. Isn't that great? It's not just like an annoying little beep. And then whenever you lock it, so nice. The only concern I have about that is that it's not loud enough. It's actually really not that loud at all. I'm sure it's something that you can adjust on the inside of the Toyota in your settings to turn that up, but that's a pretty cool thing. You notice the LED turn signals right there. Let's go around the back. Now that everything is unlocked, and I want to show you the LED turn signals from the rear now. There's your signals. And also take a look here. Now that the rear hatch is unlocked, there is a rubber button directly under here. Here's the Toyota emblem, rubber button here. You have a camera here, Prius all along the back. Then you have little dots here on the rear bumper. That's park assist. That's what beeps if you get too close to something. And then we just press this rubber button and the back pops. And then here is the back. I love the rubber mat here. The back kind of dips down and goes back up. I guess that's fine. I don't know what the point of that design is, but I guess it gives you the ability to store tall items. That's nice. Here's your back seat. You do have rear seat tethers right here for child safety seats. And then under this mat, we have this. We can lift it up, and then there is a foam board, and that has tire pump there, and that's basically a tire filler because there's no spare tire, because of the fact that it's just having a spare tire increases the weight. So weight reduction, no spare tire, there you go. Look at this, hybrid reborn. Interesting. You can see that the opening right here is all tall, kind of slender there. You have really, really thick pillars here. Does not cause blind spots in any way. There's plenty of sight. You know, you can see very well from the inside. I just like how the back is really athletic looking. Super nice. Bringing it down, there's another shot of our camera, and then it closes right up. That's crazy that that's the rear end of a Prius. I love that. Also notice that there's no rear wiper. That is gone now. It's interesting how you get into the back door. The handle is up high. It used to be here on the bottom. So now you only have one set of door handles that are physically on the door. The other ones are located on the back door. Right there, you're gonna reach in here and there's a little rubber handle, and that is gonna give you access into the back seat. Let's take a look at that now. Now here is where the Prius is kind of lacking. Back seat room. My head is touching the ceiling right now. My knees are touching the back, but it's gonna be fine for short trips. It's okay. You're probably not gonna have a ton of people in your Prius all the time, so it's okay. Now, here's another thing too. You're probably not gonna have a seat back this far unless you're over 6 feet tall, so this seat may be up a little bit more, so it's gonna accommodate people a little more comfortably. In this particular model, the back seat is absolutely bare bones. There are 2 power points here to charge your devices, but that's it. There's not even a center armrest. Nope, not even a center armrest, so bare bones. The material is nice, it's kind of hardy, it's comfortable, it's soft, but this is just super economical, not designed for comfort. I can see the whole front, that's really nice, but that's about it. Side impact airbags, of course, all the safety features that you need. That's the back seat. And now let's take a look at the heart of the beast. Now under the hood, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder gas electric hybrid engine. As you all know, the Prius always has been, always will be gas and electric. In fact, it says right here, hybrid reborn. That's the second place in the Prius that it says that. But here's the amazing thing about this new Prius engine. It produces up to 196 horsepower. That's incredible. The old Prius had like 4 horsepower. So this thing feels like a race car compared to the old Prius. It's also a lot more fuel efficient. It'll get like 56 miles per gallon average. That's absolutely amazing because vehicles usually, whenever they become more fuel efficient, it comes at the cost of less power. This has a lot more power and is a lot more fuel efficient. It's just amazing. The way the continuous variable transmission interacts with the engine is seamless. You can feel a little bit of a bump whenever the engine cuts back on, whenever you're sitting at a stoplight or something, but for the most part, it's seamless. A CVT in an old Prius feels a little bit weird because it feels like it's struggling, and you can hear that hybrid whine of the engine. This one, it gives it to you right now, and it feels fantastic with the CVT. It almost feels like a turbo. Toyota has re-engineered the way the engine and the CVT work together with all that power. Fantastic combination. The inside of the Prius is pretty basic, and I absolutely love that. Especially on this model, there's not a lot of buttons because of the features that this one has, but you can see here that it's really, really nice, and it's easy to figure out, and things are just kind of located where they're supposed to be. Not a lot of guessing as to what is what. The one thing that I see, that there are 2 banks right there. There's one there, and then there's one there that could be open. This screen is the smaller screen. It's not the upgraded screen, but for the most part, this is what the interior of the Prius is going to look like, no matter what the configuration, the basic layout. I love the steering wheel, the way the steering wheel is laid out. Over here on the left side is going to be things that control the screen that's in front of you directly. We'll take a look at that in a second. Phone, volume for the stereo, voice commands, and then over here on the right side is all going to be driving things like radar cruise control and your lane keep assist and distance for the radar cruise. This is going to be for audio. This is also audio. So down here on the bottom in these portions is audio, voice commands, things like that. And so that's the steering wheel. Pretty basic, pretty easy. Turn signal is here. You can hear the clicker here. It's kind of a mechanical tick. It's really nice. Of course, your windshield wipers are all right here as well. One of the neatest things, this is the first time I've ever seen this in a car. There's almost like a gimbal right here. You see that? There's a little arm. And then this operates on a separate one. So you can actually move that up, all the way up, and then still be able to put that mirror down. I really like how that works. That's a great little way to do that, because it gives you a lot more flexibility with the rear view mirror. Super simple, really easy. I like how the lights work here. There's a panel, there's no physical buttons, and the way those work is right there. Really, really nice. This is your Toyota Safety Connect stuff here. That's all subscription based, but it's free for a certain amount of time. So for this demonstration, this is what I'm going to be using. I'm actually going to be using this and this. This is the back arrow. It looks like a Pages icon, but this is the back arrow that takes you back a screen, and then multi-directional up, down, left, right, and OK when you want to make a selection. I'm going to be using these two for this demonstration. So like I said, this is going to be the primary screen that you see all the time directly right in front of you. Using that multi-directional keypad, I just pressed it left, and you can see on the left side under the temperature you have all of these different categories from which you can make a selection. That's Eco Zone, and so this tells me all of the different things to make sure that I know how fuel efficiently I'm driving. It can even give you a little bit of a score there. So you can see right now it says EV driving ratio, and that just came down from like 80 to 76. That's because I'm sitting in a driveway right now and the engine is running, so it's running on gas engine right now. So then I just pressed it that right. There's my total average miles per gallon, and then I can go here and just wait a second, and now there's my eco score is 79. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to press it right again, EV ratio. There's my average fuel economy. That's actually what I like to keep it on. So I'm going to hit the back arrow, that Pages icon, and oh, that's something cool. It actually took it to just like a more simple screen right there. So that whole screen now is obviously the speedometer. I like the split screen though. So I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to press down on the multi-directional keypad, and then there is adaptive cruise mode. So that's what you're going to see while you're cruising and using the adaptive cruise mode. This lets you know the amount of distance that it's going to maintain between you and the vehicle in front of you while you're using adaptive cruise. Pressing down again. Oh wait, now let's press up, and then I'm going to press right. Oh, there's a compass. That's pretty cool. So adaptive cruise mode and compass are all inside that second icon down. Here's the third icon down, and that is my audio, what's playing on through the stereo right now. And so there you go. Press OK for source. So I can press OK, and I can then change the source using that right there. Then I can press down again. And so there's tire pressure, trip information, energy monitor. Ooh, I like that. There are two different energy monitors that you can use in it, but I like that one right there. Really nice. You can see on the very back side of that, or toward the rear of the vehicle, it's showing you how much battery is actually in it right now. So now we're going to settings. And this is what I really recommend to get used to program basically before you really start using it, and to really get used to it. So lane departure alert, and then I can press and hold OK to change the settings of the lane departure alert system. So lane departure alert system is on. Alert option, the alert option is you can either make it beep, or you can make it vibrate the steering wheel. I like the steering wheel. Then there's alert timing. Do you want it to do it earlier or later? That's a nice feature. So that's all lane departure alert. I'm going to press the back arrow. Then I'm going to move over to the right side. Blind spot monitor is on. That's the feature that lights up the little amber colored indicator in your rear view mirror when someone's in your blind spot. PCS is pre-collision system. Press and hold OK. And then warning timing, it's about in the middle. PCS pre-collision system is on. I always recommend keeping that on. Okay, so this next one, PDA, is Pro Driving Assist. So this is the feature that whenever you're driving and you're in curves, and it can actually help steer you into curves like gently. It's not like going to be a real sharp curve or anything, but it will also help provide braking assistance as well. So this is actually one of those features that kind of works with all the other ones to kind of help you drive more safely. So there you go, that's that. Then there's parking assist. That's the feature where the sensors in the bumpers beep when you get too close to something. RCTA is rear cross traffic alert. When you're in reverse backing out of something, that will beep to let you know somebody's coming from the left or the right. Parking sensing, PKSB, will actually alert you whenever you're backing up and something is behind you and that should not be there and you don't want to hit it. It will beep to let you know. Safe exit assist. There's sensors in the vehicle that sense whenever someone is driving up to you or about to drive past you and you open the door, it will say close the door or you'll get your door ripped off. RSA basically can recognize street signs, and that's what is right there. You see the little speed limit. Whenever you're coming up to a stop sign, that will turn into a stop sign. Pretty cool feature. DRCC is dynamic radar cruise control, then vehicle settings and meter settings. So that's a lot going on right there inside of that one screen. So I recommend getting used to that. Now let's take a look at this screen in the very middle of the console. Over here on the left side, you will see navigation, music, phone, vehicle, and settings with a single push button volume. I love how this is push button and you can actually turn the dial up and down. That is very fantastic. Profile not loaded, guest mode activated. That's fine. We're going to dismiss that. Experience Drive Connect. This is a great feature, but you have to subscribe to it, and then it's a very advanced navigational system. I really recommend subscribing to that if you have one of these new. When you go down here, you can see your settings for your radio. You can see favorites, tune, and this allows you to search by number for a station. So 923, tune to station. That's a local station here. It's called Rock 92, and it's a great station. That's FM. So then you can see other stations right here. And you can see this is obviously scroll by touch. And then right here, you can see that it is combining FM and then XM radio stations. You can also put FM or AM stations right here as a setting as well. So you can combine AM, FM, and XM all on one page right here. Really, really easy. Then you can hit scan. You can put a heart by that, and it will put it in your favorites. Boom, right there. It's added now, so you don't have to like memorize it or anything. You can simply go here, put the heart on it, and it's going to automatically assign that right there. That's really, really easy to do. Going back to the radio, that was tune. FM radio, all right there. All stations: Christian, classic, classical, country, Mexican, news, talk, R&B, public, rock, sports, all those things. That's all FM, so it'll find those automatically for you. And then you can scroll here to see what else is around. So cool. That is so advanced. AM radio, Sirius XM. So this is memorized under favorites. Then there's Sirius XM, recommended for you. Music, sports, talk, all channels. Listening history, all right here. TikTok radio, trending sounds from TikTok. I love that. So that's all your radio stuff. That's really, really nice and easy to use. As you saw, I just started kind of pressing buttons, and that's it. Then there's Bluetooth. Device is not connected right now. Of course, you have the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all that you could hook up right here. Super easy. Just hit connect a device. It starts searching, and then you know, right there, search for devices. So that's it. That is extremely simple. Then you go vehicle, climate, front, and then options, windshield wiper de-icer. That's over here on the left side too. There's a physical button over here on the left side for the windshield wiper de-icer. Really, really nice, so that you can thaw your windshield wipers. Trip info. I like this because it gives you real-time information about how you're driving, so you can drive it more fuel efficiently if you want to give that an effort there. That's really nice. energy flow. That shows you real time what's going on. Here's the engine, here's the battery, here's the motor. And so you'll see arrows going in and out and all that. They're blue when they come from the battery. They're orange and red when they come from the engine. So that lets you know what's going on in real time with the battery, the motor, and the engine. A visual representation. No vehicle alerts right now. And then here's settings. So this is where I recommend, you know, I told you I would recommend going into the settings on the screen that's in front of you, in front of the steering wheel, and doing the settings there. I also recommend going and doing the settings here. So you're going to go in, you're going to subscribe to everything, then you're going to be signed in not as guest but as your name, and then you're going to go into settings right here and go under personal info, Bluetooth and devices, manage devices, general, and start to mess with all of this stuff. This is where you're going to really be able to customize how you interact with your new Prius. It's a great thing to do. So, you know, you've owned it a week or two or a couple of days and you have some spare time, you go in and you start doing this kind of stuff. Sound and media, auto sound levelizer that changes the volume according to speed. So if you speed up, it's going to increase the volume. If you slow down, it's going to decrease the volume. You can cut that off. You can do all kinds of stuff there. Sound tuning, mid, treble, and bass. And then you can also put majority of the sound, the focus of the sound, wherever you want to in the cabin using this. Isn't that great? I like it right in the middle. Then media display cover art, that's called Grace Note. That's how you actually see the cover art once you're, like if your phone is hooked up and you're using Spotify, it will show cover art. That's what that does. I don't know why you would not want to display cover art, but you can have that choice if you want to. Then radio, and then that's the fantastic navigation system. That's pretty much a basic overview of everything right here in the middle. Then right here are your climate controls. Very basic, very easy to understand. Front defrost, rear defrost, system off, temperature control, so you can push that up and down. And then this controls the fan speed, this controls the fan direction, recirculate, fresh, AC, and auto. That is it. Nice and basic. Right down here's all your cup holders and a little bit of storage. This is pretty neat. You can just do that. You can lift out that tray. You can wash it, clean it up, stick it back, snap it down. Nice and easy, one-handed. There's a charger here, a lightning charger for your Apple devices, a cigarette lighter adapter charger. Then you have a couple of cup holders there. And then this last section is going to be your gear shifter. I'm going to put my foot on the brake. In order to operate it, to take it out of park, you can see park is lit up right now, but in order to operate this, you just pull it left and then up to go into reverse, and then you pull it left and down to go into drive. And now we're in drive. You can see B is straight back and hold it. And now that's B. That's like slowing it down, using the engine to slow you down. You go over here and hold it for neutral. We're in neutral now, but whenever you want to put it in park, so you're finished, it's in drive now. We come to a stop, we're ready to park the Prius. We just press this, and then we pull this up in order to activate the parking brake. Drive mode is here. I can press that and it says eco, then there's normal, then there's sport, and then there's custom. Sport really is feisty. That controls something called throttle mapping, and that makes it so the gas pedal is more sensitive. So that makes it nice and feisty when you're in sport mode. Normal reduces that, so you have to push the accelerator down further in order to achieve speed. And then eco, which is the drive mode it's in now, makes it so that you have to press the gas pedal even further in order to achieve speed, but that makes it more fuel efficient as well. I always use eco because I'm a hyper-miling nerd and it's a Prius. You're supposed to get better fuel economy, so I use eco. Whenever you're in eco mode though, it's going to take the climate control system down a notch. because it's going to direct the excess power from the climate control system and make it more fuel efficient. So notice that, like if it's super hot outside and you're in eco mode, if you push it up and go into normal mode, you're going to get an extra fan speed in that climate control system. So that would really be, in my opinion, the only time to use normal mode. Then EV mode, electric vehicle mode, that's when there is a good charge on the battery after you've been driving around, 15, 20 minutes, and the battery has a good charge. You can hit that, and you can be in electricity only mode. That's like for parking lots, low speed, bumper to bumper traffic, boom, hit EV mode. Brake hold right here, that allows you to take your foot off of the brake when you're at a stoplight or at a stop, and but in order to activate that, you have to press it in, and then when you come to a complete stop, you'll see a little amber light on the dash that says hold. It looks just like this, and then you can take your foot off the brake at that point. And then once the light turns green or you're ready to proceed, all you do is press the accelerator. You don't have to press that again. You do have to press this every time you start the Prius in order to use it though. Traction control off right there. Then there is a little holder right here, cell phone, perfect fit. The drive of the Prius is so much better than I anticipated. I knew the drive was going to be different because of the natural, horsepower bump, and I would imagine that there would have been some sound dampening materials and all that stuff. But the drive in it is so much better than I anticipated because it's not just about power. It's about fit and finish. It's about ride quality. It's about just how the cabin feels overall, how the car interacts with you. The materials are plasticky, but it's not cheap. Your eye is not drawn to anything in particular. It seems to me the driver's seat is a little bit more snug. I drive a 2015 Prius, and the driver's area feels tighter. To me, that's not a big deal. And for somebody that's never been in a Prius before, if this is your first experience in a Prius, not a big deal. But it just feels like there's a little bit, it's a little bit more confined. I'm getting onto an interstate right now. The speed limit is 65. I'm accelerating right now with no problem at all. And I'm up to 66 miles an hour. I'm going to press the radar cruise control, and the radar cruise control, the lane keep assist, lane trace assist, the feature that it recognizes signs and the speed limit and all that stuff are now active. I can feel the steering wheel in my hand and it's kind of working itself. So I'm just basically guiding it a little bit. My foot is off the accelerator and it's just an easy ride. There is a decent amount of road noise from the tires, and I think that Toyota would do well to put more sound dampening materials to affect that. Overall though, it is so easy to drive. It's not totally like self-driving by any stretch, but it's almost like a hybrid self-drive in a hybrid, right? So there's the hybrid powertrain, gas, electric, engine, battery, but then there's like this kind of self-drive-ish mode where you can feel the wheel in your hand, and when you go up to a gentle curve on an interstate, you can feel it kind of working with you if you have all the features activated. Now you can totally not use this stuff, but to me, if you have it, it's absolutely a game changer because it makes it easier to drive the vehicle. Okay, everybody, that's gonna do it for our look at the 2023 Toyota Prius. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Again, I would like to say a huge thank you to Impex Auto Sales for the opportunity to film this Prius. Be sure to check them out on the worldwide internet machine. But remember, the most important thing of all, have a wonderful day, everybody.